It was on July 20, 1921, how UK songwriter Sir Edward Elgar outdoor the doors of a new store at 363 Oxford Road mentioned its Wizard's Vote. But the story of the mark how became named as HMV reaches behind to the introduce of the phonograph in the 1890s. The innovator of the piece of music gamer, Emil Berliner, got assist of William Barry Owen and Trevor Williams to recording and production accounting records for his devices, and the Troika set up the phonograph business in 1898. One day shaped, the gear concentrated on creation accounting records and players in its plant in Hayes and distribution them to freelance shops about the nation. But to do them stay of, and portrait logotype was necessary. Owen purchased a art titled Its Wizard's Vote in 1899 of the painter Francis Barwood, showing Tongs the dog steadfast in an Edison barrel gramophone. He requested the artist to replace it in a phonograph, and a year after the business had obtained the rights to the image and which was to be one of the largest identifiable brands in piece of music. It became their formal trademark in 1909, and time the phonograph business was never formally named his Wizard's Vote business. The renowned mongrel on the accounting records intended it was how the social knew them. As a outcome, it was a nature selection of behalf for their at first keep. The store at 363 Oxford Road was ruined by flame Indiana 1937, and a interim store was set up on Ties Road before its opening in 1939, in the supplement of an airborne raid orphanage for Planet War couple. In spite the terror of the warfare, piece of music lived on, in patriot songs proper famous through the 1930s and 1940s. HMV as well entered auditory posts so customers could go in and hear to accounting records up they took them household, and lead copied through the production. Go the 1950s, the planet was set to be shocked in a more than favorable strength, as pop piece of music blown. More than rather than 280 millionth acquaintance were sold out via the 10 years in the UK, and HMV became a magnetically for piece of music lovers. These turned on as Precipice Richard, who cut a demonstration in the store's studios and later provided a transactions in the store's parental business electromagnetic radiation, and Brian Epstein, who requested to do the identical for a later unknown instrument, the Beatles. By 1966, HMV began to extend, at first in London and later via the otherwise of the nation. In fair 6 year, it doubled in amount and became the UK's greatest piece of music retail dealer. The 1970s saw rivals go to sting at its heels. Our cost grew of its lowly ASA in London's Finchley Way, specialising in cassettes and 8 tracks, to absorption as the nation's other biggest piece of music vendor following Woolworths, and Richard Branson outdoor his flagman maiden megastores a rocks cast of HMV on Oxford Road in 1976. But go the 1980s, in the introduce of the small disc and a 50,000 FOOT flagman keep discovery in a new Oxford Road space, HMV was behind in the play. The circuit was at the cardiac of the innovation of to-store decorum by the largest acts of the date. Gender McCartney, Michael Jackson, Madonna, David Bowie and Kate Bush were fair several of the much million marketing artists to elegance its store, signature CDs and game exceptional sets for such who controlled to compress in among the recording racks. The 1990s saw more than increase in turnover for HMV and more than extension as the growth of grunge and hip-hop dominated the charts. The circuit outdoor its 100th keep in 1997, and McCartney refundable to Oxford Road to de-launch its flagman, in more than rather than 5,000 human beings laid up to look. And as the DVD size rose in popular, HMV jumped airborne, helped the business extend to more than rather than 200 store by 2004. In the 2000s, more than stars extended to herd to the shops to sell their goods, consisting Beyoncé, Amy Winehouse and Dame Gaga. But on in new piece of music, it was the 10 years how saw the start of Poem's iPod, and the digital coup had started. Following a lot of acquisitions by HMV, purchase outless chains Love Fop and its competing Zavvi, as so as incoming the dwell piece of music industry in indicate violinist, things took a rotate. The year following digital piece of music rental income overtook turnover of natural formats for the at first period in 2012. HMV equipped Deloitte as business administrators and hanging shares. Loyalist fans of the shops breathed a yearn of ease as Hilco, a company house specializes in reorganization, took above the business and its 141 store in a transactions cost £50 meter. HMV was to dwell Elstate, and in spite close its main keep on Oxford Road, it refundable to its unique household at quantity 363 in October 2013, reinstating its retro-style signboard and hospitable more than acts, such as Stormzy and Kylie. But it was yet creature hit difficult by the extension of on the internet trading, the creative flowing services and the common cold difficult reality how less human beings were purchase natural formats. Fair days following the Yuletide festivities of 2018, the retail dealer was poised to go in authority once again, in more than rather than 120 store and 2,200 personnel at hazard. And down there is no mark yet of else deliverer for the fabulous mark.